When global wealth is discussed, the spotlight usually falls on Silicon Valley founders, Wall Street dynasties, or Middle Eastern royalty. But while the world was looking elsewhere, something historic was unfolding in Africa. Across the continent, a new class of black industrial families rose by building the foundations of entire economies. Not influencers, not celebrities, but owners of cement plants, power stations, telecom networks, oil fields, and supply chains that millions depend on every day. This is not a forensic ranking of bank accounts. It's a strategic look at some of the most powerful black families in Africa. What you're about to see is the architecture of African power. Number 10. The Elumelu family, the turnaround kings. We begin our ascent with a family that proves wealth in Africa isn't just about digging resources out of the ground. It's about knowing how to move money. The Elumelu family, led by the charismatic Tony Elumelu, represents the modern face of African capitalism. While many on this list built their fortunes on oil or land, Elumelu built his on a far more volatile commodity: trust. His story is the ultimate Wall Street thriller, set in Lagos. In his early 30s, Elumelu pulled off one of the most audacious takeovers in corporate history. He took a distressed, failing institution, then known as Crystal Bank, rebranded it as Standard Trust, and turned it into a machine. But he didn't stop there. He merged it with the United Bank for Africa, UBA, transforming a local Nigerian operation into a pan-African financial empire with branches in 20 countries, including hubs in London, Paris, and New York. Today, through Heirs Holdings, the family controls a portfolio that reads like a wish list for any global investor. They have massive stakes in power generation, hospitality, and healthcare. But their real flex is the Transcorp Hilton in Abuja, the most profitable hotel in Nigeria, a place where presidents sleep and billion-dollar deals are signed in the lobby. The Elumelu lifestyle reflects this polished dominance. Tony is known for his Africapitalism philosophy, but he is also known for his impeccable bespoke suits and a fitness regime that puts men half his age to shame. The family maintains private residences in Lagos and London, but their true asset is influence. Through the Tony Elumelu Foundation, they are funding thousands of young entrepreneurs across the continent, effectively building their own future army of business allies. They are the gatekeepers. If you want to move billions across African borders, eventually, you have to knock on the Elumelu door. Number 9. The Otedola family, the energy aristocrats. If the Elumelis are the bankers, the Otedolas are the rock stars of African business. Led by Femi Otedola, this family has mastered the art of the pivot. Femi was once the king of diesel, controlling Fort Oil and owning hundreds of gas stations across Nigeria. But he saw the writing on the wall before anyone else. In a move that shocked the market, he sold his oil empire to bet everything on power generation. It was a gamble that paid off in spectacular fashion. Today, the family's wealth is anchored by Geregu Power, a massive electricity generation plant that literally keeps the lights on for millions of Nigerians. When Geregu listed on the stock exchange, it turned Otedola into one of the biggest gainers in the African market, proving that electricity is the new oil. But what makes the Otedola family fascinating is how they spend it. They are the only family on this list that embraces the jet-set lifestyle with zero apologies. Femi Otedola made headlines globally when he rented the Christina O, the legendary superyacht once owned by Aristotle Onassis, for his 60th birthday. He sailed the Mediterranean with his family, racking up a total bill rumored to exceed $3 million. He owns properties in Lagos, Dubai, London, and Monaco. His garage houses bulletproof Rolls-Royces and Ferraris. And unlike the old guard who hide their children, the Otedola heirs are brands in themselves. His daughter, Florence, known to the world as DJ Cuppy, is an international music producer and philanthropist, while his other daughter, Temi, is a rising actress and fashion icon. They represent a new era of black wealth, transparent, glamorous, and unapologetically expensive. The Otedola family proves that you can run a power plant and still live life on the front page of Vogue. Number 8. The Kenyatta family, the lords of the land. We leave the oil and banks of West Africa and fly east to the high-altitude hills of Kenya. Here, wealth isn't just measured in bank accounts, it is measured in acres. The Kenyatta family is not just a business dynasty, they are the political bedrock of Kenya. Descended from the country's first president, Jomo Kenyatta, and led recently by the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, this family controls an empire that is woven into the very soil of the nation. While official estimates often downplay their fortune, investigative reports and financial analysts place their net worth well over the billion-dollar mark. Why? Because they own the land. The family is reported to own over 500,000 acres of prime land across Kenya. To put that into perspective, that is an area nearly the size of the country of Luxembourg. On this land, they have built a diversified conglomerate that touches every part of a Kenyan's daily life. They own Brookside Dairy, the largest dairy company in East Africa. If you drink milk in Kenya, Uganda, or Tanzania, you are likely paying the Kenyattas. They have massive stakes in NCBA Bank, one of the region's largest financial institutions. They own a chain of luxury hotels, including the Heritage Hotels Group, and have deep investments in media and insurance. This is old money in its purest form. Their wealth is quiet, conservative, and omnipresent. You won't see them flashing cash on Instagram. Their mansions are hidden behind high walls and acres of private forest, protected by state-level security. The Kenyatta family proves that in Africa, political power and economic power are often two sides of the same coin. They don't just participate in the economy, they are the landlords of it. Number 7. The Dewji family, the industrial titans of the East. Staying in East Africa, we moved to Tanzania to meet a family that turned a small trading house into an industrial colossus. The Dewji family, fronted by the dynamic Mohammed Dewji, controls METL Group. If you live in East Africa, it is almost impossible to go a day without touching a product made by this family. METL accounts for nearly 3.5% of Tanzania's entire GDP. Let that sink in. One family is responsible for a significant fraction of a nation's economic output. Dewji is one of the youngest billionaires on the continent, with a fortune hovering near $2 billion. But his story is one of aggressive expansion. He took over his father's modest commodities business and went on a buying spree, purchasing loss-making state-owned textile mills and soap factories and turning them into gold mines. Today, METL produces everything: edible oils, detergents, soft drinks, bicycles, and textiles. They employ over 35,000 people. They are the engine of Tanzania. But the Dewji story also has a darker, more cinematic chapter. In 2018, Dewji was kidnapped by armed men outside a luxury hotel in Dar es Salaam. For 9 days, the world held its breath. He was eventually released, unharmed, but the incident highlighted the real risks that come with holding such immense wealth in developing regions. Since then, the family has doubled down on security but also on philanthropy. The Dewji Foundation is one of the most active in the region, focusing on water and education. Mo himself has signed the Giving Pledge, promising to donate half his wealth to charity. The Dewji family represents the hustle of the African merchant class, the ability to trade, manufacture, and scale until you are too big to fail. Number 6. The Alakija family, the guardians of the oil. Back in Nigeria, there is a woman who stared down the government, the oil majors, and the patriarchy, and won. The Alakija family, matriarched by Folorunsho Alakija, sits on a fortune derived from one of the most lucrative assets on the planet, a deep-water oil block known as OML 127. Her journey is legendary. She started as a secretary, then launched a fashion label, making clothes for the wives of military generals. It was through these high-level connections that she secured a license to explore for oil. But here is the catch. The block she was given was considered worthless. No one wanted it. It was too deep, too expensive, and too risky. She partnered with Texaco, they drilled, and they found a sea of black gold. It was a discovery so massive that the Nigerian government tried to take the block back. Most people would have folded. Alakija sued the government. She fought them in court for 12 years, and she won. Today, That victory anchors a net worth estimated over $1 billion. But the Alakija wealth is not just in oil, it is in real estate. The family owns hundreds of millions of dollars in property, including huge stakes in the London housing market and the spectacular Rose of Sharon Tower in Lagos. They live with a devout, almost royal elegance. Folorunsho is a powerful voice in the Christian community, and her philanthropy through the Rose of Sharon Foundation supports thousands of widows and orphans. The Alakija family proves that in the high-stakes world of African resources, you don't just need capital, you need a spine of steel. Number 5. The Masiyiwa family, the digital visionaries. In the 1990s, a man named Strive Masiyiwa tried to start a phone company in Zimbabwe. The government said no. They threatened him. They blocked him. They tried to destroy him. He fought back, took his case to the Supreme Court, and won a constitutional victory that opened the telecommunications sector for the entire country. Today, the Masiyiwa family, based between London and Africa, controls a digital empire that is literally wiring the continent for the future. Strive and his wife, Tsitsi Masiyiwa, are the power couple behind Econet Global and Cassava Technologies. Their wealth, estimated at nearly $3 billion, is built on the things you cannot see but cannot live without: data and connectivity. They own Liquid Intelligent Technologies, the company that has laid over 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable across Africa. They are building the data centers that house the internet for the continent. They are partnering with Google and Microsoft to bring cloud and AI to African cities. The Masiyiwas operate differently from the resource barons. They are tech moguls. Their assets are intellectual and digital. Because of their history with political persecution in Zimbabwe, they operate with a level of global sophistication that protects their fortune. They sit on the boards of global giants like Netflix. They are friends with billionaire philanthropists like Bill Gates. Their lifestyle is understated luxury, London townhouses and New York penthouses, but their focus is impact. Through the Higher Life Foundation, they have provided scholarships for over 250,000 African students. They aren't just connecting people to the phone network, they are connecting them to the global economy. The Masiyiwa family represents the future of African wealth: borderless, digital, and resilient. Number 4. The Motsepe family, the gold standard. In South Africa, the mines run deep, but the pockets of the Motsepe family run deeper. Patrice Motsepe made history as the first Black African to become a dollar billionaire. His fortune, currently surging near $3 billion, began in the gold mines. But unlike the laborers, Motsepe bought the shafts. He founded African Rainbow Minerals, ARM, a company that mines gold, platinum, iron, and coal. He capitalized on the Black economic empowerment laws of post-apartheid South Africa. But he didn't just rely on policy, he relied on operational brilliance. He bought low-yield mine shafts that major companies were closing and made them profitable through lean management. But the Motsepe empire is evolving. They are no longer just digging rocks, they are disrupting banks. The family's investment arm, African Rainbow Capital, is the major backer of Time Bank, one of the fastest-growing digital banks in the world. They are pivoting from the old economy to the new economy in real time. And then there is the influence. Patrice Motsepe is the president of the Confederation of African Football, CAF. He owns the Mamelodi Sundowns, one of the richest soccer clubs on the continent. When he speaks, the entire continent listens. The family has also signed the Giving Pledge, promising to give half of their fortune to the poor. They are the royalty of South African business, respected, feared, and incredibly wealthy. The Motsepe family proves that true wealth isn't just about earning money. It's about understanding the systems that generate it, whether that's mining laws or digital banking algorithms. Most people see these billionaires and think it's magic, but it's actually methodology. If you want to understand the exact economic strategies and wealth-building principles used by titans like Motsepe and Masiyiwa, I have tagged a curated list of essential biographies and business strategy books right here on the screen. These books are the blueprint for this level of success. Click the View Products button to start your own education. Number 3. The Rabiu family, the industrial challenger. For years, one name dominated the Nigerian industrial sector. But in the last decade, a challenger has risen, a quiet, calculated force that has shaken up the status quo. The Rabiu family, led by Abdul Rabiu, controls the BUA group. And right now, they are on a meteoric rise. Abdul Rabiu inherited a small trading business from his father, a legendary merchant in Kano. But Abdul Samad didn't want to just trade rice and oil. He wanted to make it. He built BUO Cement into the second largest cement producer in Nigeria. He built BUA Foods into a sugar and pasta giant. In recent years, his net worth has seen explosive growth, consistently ranking him among the top wealthiest in Africa as his company's stock prices soared. The Rabiu strategy is simple: build big and build where the competition is weak. When others were scared of the logistics in northern Nigeria, Rabiu built fortresses there. He is currently constructing new lines that will double his production capacity, directly challenging the monopolies of the past. The family wealth is visible in their assets. Abdul Samad owns a $70 million private jet. He has a penthouse in South Africa and a mansion in London's ultra-exclusive Kensington district. But the Rabiu family is also defined by their rivalry. They are in a constant high-stakes battle for market share with our number one family. It is a clash of titans that drives down prices and drives up infrastructure development. The Rabiu family proves that in Africa, there is always room for a second giant, provided you have the capital and the courage to fight for your spot. Number 2. The Adenuga family, the invisible empire. They call him the Bull. Mike Adenuga is the most enigmatic billionaire in Africa. He rarely gives interviews. He rarely appears in public. But his presence is felt every time a Nigerian makes a phone call or fills up their car. The Adenuga family fortune, firmly in the multi-billion-dollar bracket, is built on two pillars: data and oil. Mike Adenuga made his first fortune in the chaotic days of the Nigerian oil boom, securing a drilling license and becoming the first Nigerian to strike oil in commercial quantities with a local company, Conoil. That alone would have made him a legend. But his second act was even bigger. He founded Globacom, a telecommunications giant that built the Glo 1 submarine cable from the UK to Nigeria. He battled the giants like MTN and Airtel by crashing the price of SIM cards and making mobile phones accessible to the common man. The Adenuga wealth is legendary for its liquidity. While other billionaires are rich in stocks, rumors in Lagos whisper that Adenuga is rich in cash. His lifestyle matches the mystery. He lives in a massive, gold-plated mansion in Banana Island, Lagos, where he allegedly manages his empire from a home office, working deep into the night. He owns a Bombardier Global Express private jet and a property portfolio that spans the globe. But the true power of the Adenuga family is their independence. They don't answer to shareholders. Globacom is a private company. Conoil is firmly under his control. He is a sovereign operator, a man who built an empire on his own terms and protects it with a wall of silence. Number 1. The Dangote family, the sovereign industrialists. We have arrived at the summit. The family that has not only topped the list for over a decade, but has now separated themselves from the rest of the continent by a margin that is almost impossible to close. This is the Dangote family. And their leader, Aliko Dangote, is no longer just competing with African billionaires. He is competing with history. For years, Dangote was known as the Cement King. He built Dangote Cement into the largest producer in sub-Saharan Africa, operating in 10 countries. That business alone was a money-printing machine. But Aliko Dangote had a bigger vision. He looked at Nigeria, Africa's largest oil producer, and saw a tragedy. The country imported all its refined fuel. So he did the impossible. He decided to build the world's largest single-train oil refinery. Critics said it couldn't be done. They said the logistics were too hard, the swampland was too difficult, the cost was too high. He ignored them. He poured $20 billion into the Lekki Free Zone. He built a private port. He built a power plant. He dredged the sea. In 2024, the refinery roared to life, and by 2025, it ramped up operations to process 650,000 barrels of crude oil per day. The result? Aliko Dangote's net worth remains the highest on the continent, with an asset base that now controls the energy security of Africa's largest economy. He is the only African consistently ranked among the top 150 wealthiest people on Earth. The Dangote family empire is now a sovereign state. They produce the fuel that powers the cars, the cement that builds the houses, the sugar that sweetens the food, and the fertilizer that grows the crops. Their wealth is almost unfathomable. Aliko owns a $40 million private jet that he treats like a taxi. He has homes in Atlanta, London, and Lagos. But his true luxury is legacy. He has broken the resource curse by proving that Africa can manufacture its own future. He has set a standard that may not be matched for 100 years. The Dangote family isn't just the richest in Africa. They are the architects of the continent's new economic era. From energy and telecommunications to mining, banking, and food production, these families didn't just accumulate wealth. They built systems that nations rely on. Not every valuation is public. Not every asset is disclosed. But the pattern is undeniable. In Africa, the deepest power comes from owning infrastructure, controlling distribution, and thinking in generations, not quarters. These mansions, jets, and factories are not just symbols of luxury. They are markers of economic independence and long-term dominance. Which dynasty stood out to you the most? The industrial giants or the digital visionaries? Subscribe to Black Status for more deep dives into global Black wealth and power. More is coming. I'll see you in the next one.